Part 22. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 212. The fragrance of this elixir. It is a 6th grade elixir, no, it may even be a higher grade elixir. Even the disciples who had no knowledge of alchemy were all extremely surprised at this moment. What does a 6th grade or even a 7th grade elixir mean? It is priceless, even with spirit stones, it is simply out of stock. An elixir of this grade is enough to make anyone crazy. Is this, really made by Senior Brother Nai? At this moment, all the disciples of the Tianyun Hall seemed to be dumbfounded. Tianyun Hall suddenly had an alchemist who could refine an elixir of grade 6 or above, and it was Nai Chen himself. If this news spread, it would probably cause an uproar. People who want to ask Nai Chen to refine an elixir may be enough to break the door. And at this moment in the back mountain. Congratulations to the host, successfully refined the 7th grade elixir Jinyang Fenjin Pill. Jinyang Fenjin Pill is a high-grade elixir that can cleanse the bones and muscles, and even greatly enhance potential. The lowest level of the elixir recipe is also a 5th grade elixir. The one refined by Nai Chen has reached the 7th grade. The 7th grade elixir is enough to change fate, and can even make bones grow flesh and turn waste wood around. Needless to say, the grade of this Jinyang Burning Tendon Pill is very high. Nai Chen did not hesitate to enter the system mall to continue searching. Almost every elixir recipe costs 10 skill points. He only has 127 skill points left, but if he can refine more useful elixirs, it will not be a loss no matter how much he spends. After all, he has just entered the sea-breaking realm. In addition to stabilizing his realm, he must also find a way to climb to the Cauldron Transformation realm. The Cauldron Transformation realm can command one side and be respected as the Great Emperor. The Great Emperor is the symbol of the true power of the Lanchuan continent. The 3rd level soul condensing pill can cleanse the soul and refine the essence. The Azure Red Fire Pill can comprehend the Azure Fire Lotus. The Tianshan Snow Lotus Pill is enough to drive the female cultivators in the world crazy. It is a top-grade elixir that can beautify and nourish the skin. Nai Chen exchanged the 3 pill recipes without hesitation, and controlled the pill furnace to refine the pills. Even though he only comprehended the method of refining pills through books in the Sutra library, after reaching the 7th grade alchemist, Nai Chen seemed to have learned it by himself. When refining pills, he was perfect, as if he had already refined them thousands of times. The temperature and the timing of integrating spiritual energy. Control the surrounding spiritual energy to gather into the pill furnace and control the condensation of the pills in it. Everything was almost perfect under Nai Chen's hands. Golden Sun Burning Tendon Pill. 3rd level Soul Condensing Pill. Azure Red Fire Pill. Tianshan Snow Lotus Pill. Each pill that reached the 7th grade was condensed. The spiritual energy and mystery emitted by the elixir even attracted strange phenomena in the world. There was no sudden rain, but a colorful rainbow streaked across the sky, lingering above the curling elixir furnace. Not only that, the fragrance of the elixir was diffused, spreading to the surroundings continuously. It was as fragrant as a flower, refreshing and intoxicating. The 4 kinds of elixir were divided into 4 kinds of residual fragrance, mixed and floating in the Tianyun Palace. The rainbows and strange phenomena in the sky continued, all showing how magical the scene was in the back mountain. How many elixirs did Senior Brother Nai refine? Moreover, the grade of these elixirs. Even those who had no knowledge of elixirs could feel how terrible the grade of the elixir was from this strange phenomenon. Even if they only smelled the fragrance of the elixir floating in the air, everyone felt that their bodies seemed to have undergone a substantial improvement. If they could eat one, they couldn't even imagine what effect it would have. It's fine that he has a strong talent for cultivation and comprehension, but even his alchemy has reached the top of Lanchuan continent. Senior Brother Nai is really too much. Tianyun Hall was instantly in an uproar, and the disciples' discussions and exclamations were endless like a tide. Elder Wang, who was once obsessed with alchemy but had no results for many years, was completely dumbfounded. Even Chu Qingyu's indifferent expression revealed a slight surprise. The fragrance of the elixir was everywhere. At this moment, the whole Tianyun hall seemed to be infected by this rich elixir fragrance. Accompanied by the flowing strange light, for a moment, it was like a fairyland. This is the 7th grade elixir, the essence of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Even the great emperors are extremely eager for the 7th grade elixir. Congratulations to the host for successfully refining the Jinyang burning tendon pill. Congratulations to the host for successfully refining the 3rd turn soul condensing pill. The pills were placed on the grass next to the alchemy furnace. Each one of them would be enough to cause an uproar among countless people. His current realm has reached the sea-breaking realm. It has only been 2 years since he came to this world, and he has directly entered the sea-breaking realm from the condensation realm. Such a terrifying speed, I am afraid that even if you look at the history of the entire Lanchuan continent, no one can reach it. 2 years. Even those emperors who are said to have unparalleled qualifications and have attracted worldwide attention, if they want to reach the sea-breaking realm, it is estimated that it will take at least 100 years. If they knew that Nai Chen had only taken 2 years to reach such a level, I am afraid that the entire continent would be in an uproar. Of course, a fairy who ascended to heaven with beauty as the way is not included in it. But even so, seeing that the battle between Emperor Fiyu and Emperor Yushin is imminent, it is still necessary to improve the strength as soon as possible. Nai Chen swallowed all the 5 pills in front of him except the snow lotus pill without hesitation. A fragrant feeling instantly filled the air, as if a continuous stream of spiritual energy flowed into his mouth and spread to his limbs along the spiritual veins. The golden sun burning tendon pill seemed to turn into an endless fire, burning Nai Chen's body. The 3rd transformation soul condensing pill condensed into an extremely powerful force, tearing Nai Chen's soul. The bluely red fire pill tempered his whole body. It was like facing scorching heat and cold at the same time, and boundless pain swept over, constantly invading every part of Nai Chen's body. But it was this pain that was a sign of improvement. Not only the body, but even the soul seemed to be torn apart by these pills. In the boundless pain, a few beads of sweat slid down Nai Chen's forehead, and he gritted his teeth to endure it. Tear, reorganize, tear again, and recover again. In the repeated repetition, the pain and control brought by the pills were obviously decreasing. At this moment, a golden shadow slowly emerged from behind Nai Chen. The huge Dharma image was majestic and shook the sky. The 4 meridians of the Xiangu saint body were opened at the same time, and golden lines spread all over Nai Chen's body. All of Nai Chen's strength has been fully exerted to the extreme. Nai Chen shouted softly, and in an instant, a huge amount of spiritual energy swept into his body. Its tyrannical aura actually swallowed up the spiritual energy of the 3 pills in an instant. And it was completely integrated into Nai Chen's body. At this moment, the Xiangu saint body shone brightly. Shock, the love letter was sent to the empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 213. Boom. A golden ray of light spreads around, with a faint residual fragrance of the elixir in it. At this moment, Nai Chen slowly opened his eyes. The eyes were dyed with a layer of golden color, like God's, sacred, bright and awe-inspiring. Call. Just the breath Nai Chen exhaled turned into a powerful aftermath that shook in all directions. Temper the body and cleanse the soul. After repeatedly tempering the 3 elixirs, Nai Chen had greatly improved both physically and spiritually. Not only has the realm of the sea opening realm been completely stabilized, it has even taken a step closer, directly crossing into the middle stage of the sea opening realm. Every major realm is extremely difficult to pass, and even if you barely climb it, sometimes it will take several years to stabilize the lower realm, let alone further improve it. This is why the realms between monks are as far apart as the sky, and only through continuous accumulation over many years can one climb to a higher realm. However, Nai Chen completely broke this routine after taking and enduring the great improvement brought by several 7th grade elixirs, coupled with the terrifying devouring, melting, and growth rate of the Suangu holy body. If it were any other person, he would be able to have so many 7th grade elixirs. Without the help of the Suangu holy body, just taking one pill would be the limit. If he forcibly eats more, let alone improving, he may not even be able to save his life. Nai Chen slowly stood up, and the last violent wave spread in all directions. The holy golden color in his eyes slowly dissipated, and he clenched his fists. Nai Chen could clearly feel the improvement in his strength. The body is strong, as solid as a rock, and the soul is stable as Mount Tai. Not only that, Nai Chen's spiritual consciousness swept across him, as if he were looking down from the sky. Everything within a radius of hundreds of miles seemed to be felt. There are the noises of passers-by on the street, and there are also couples in small rooms whispering affectionately, dancing with guns and sticks. It is completely different from the previous realm. Once you reach the sea-opening realm, your originally extremely limited spiritual energy storage will open up like a vast ocean. Endless and inexhaustible. It can even connect heaven and earth with itself and summon the aura of heaven and earth. Therefore, only the strong in the sea-opening realm can summon the Dharma and exert a power that can move mountains, fill seas, and shake the heaven and earth. Because of this, even though the road ahead is long, there are countless monks trying to reach such a state one after another. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the middle stage of the sea-opening realm and receiving a system reward, a pill recipe. At this moment, the system sound suddenly sounded. Dan Fang. I didn't expect the system to be so considerate. Knowing that I happened to want to make an elixir, I sent him the elixir recipe. But what kind of elixir is being rewarded? Nai Chen was a little expectant and curious, and his consciousness penetrated into the spiritual sea to check the rewards. I saw that the elixir was covered with a golden surface, with golden light flowing on it, and the breath seemed to come from eternity. Not only is it ancient and unusual, but it also exudes a sacred aura. What on earth was Dan Fang Nei writing about that could lead to such a grand scene? With a burst of dazzling light, Nai Chen opened the prescription. I saw that what was written on it was exactly Heavenly Spiritual Pill Longian Aphrodisiac Pill. In an instant, Nai Chen recalled the dragon's yin aphrodisiac pill that was confiscated by his wife. Although Longian Yang Yang pill is good, it is so precious that it is difficult to find it in the world. Good brother, good brother. Nai Chen was so moved that he didn't know what to say. If the system hadn't been real, he would have patted this good brother on the shoulder. After setting up the pill furnace, Nai Chen immediately refined the Dragon Song Yang Yang pill. Although it may not be used for the time being, facing the empress, it will definitely be used sooner or later. Strange. What kind of aroma is this? The strange fragrance floated in Tianyun Palace again. Already shocked to the point of numbness by the spectacle of Nai Chen refining elixirs one after another, everyone showed a hint of curiosity again. Because although this aura is extremely directional, it should be a very high-grade elixir like the previous one. But this aura always reveals a hint of weirdness. Especially, ordinary disciples haven't had much reaction yet. The several supreme elders trembled, and suddenly they felt as if they were refreshed and had a completely different spirit than before. Especially Elder Li, who had always been unsure of himself, his eyes suddenly lit up. The original decrepit appearance was gone, and the whole person seemed to have been sublimated, looking high-spirited. Do you have a strange feeling? I feel like I am 10 years younger. Where is 10 years old? He's almost 100 years old. Several elders looked at each other in astonishment, but all revealed a bit of excitement. What kind of elixir is that boy Nai Chen refining? I don't know, but I must ask him for one no matter what. If it doesn't work, no matter how much it costs, I will definitely change it." As they spoke, several elders felt as if they were taking a breath of fresh air, and all of them showed unconcealable excitement. "It's out." Nai Chen took out a whole furnace of new dragon's yin aphrodisiac pills from the furnace and put away the other refined pills together. There are 30 or 40 7th grade elixirs, among which the largest number of Tianshan snow lotus pills, a total of 12, have been refined. Nai Chen put away the pill furnace and flew back to the main hall with the pills. "Wife, I'll give you some pills." Put 7 pure white Tianshan snow lotus pills, which exuded a faint chill and fragrance, in a wooden box and put them in Chu Qingyu's hand. Looking at the 12 Tianshan snow lotus pills, Chu Qingyu coughed lightly and blamed them with a little embarrassment. "7th grade pills are so precious, why don't you refine some useful ones, and refine these pills that can only be used for beauty and youth?" "Need I say that? Of course it's because, my wife, you are more important than anything else in my heart." Nai Chen smiled slightly. This sentence instantly made Chu Qingyu's breathing stagnate, and then her heartbeat accelerated by unknown times. Slippery. This resentful tone not only did not mean the slightest blame, but also carried a hint of shyness. "Don't worry, I have also refined other pills," Nai Chen explained, and then began to take out the pills one by one. "This is the Jinyang burning tendon pill, this is the third turn soul condensing pill, and there is the Kingly red fire pill, and there is..." Nai Chen quickly hid a pill with dragon patterns engraved on it behind him, pretending that nothing had happened. "What is that pill?" Chu Qingyu turned her head to the left curiously, but Nai Chen quickly moved a step to the left. Chu Qingyu turned her head to the right, and Nai Chen immediately turned around to block the back. That curious look could not see what Nai Chen had hidden. "Not suitable for children, not suitable for children." In the hall, only 2 awkward coughs from Nai Chen were heard. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 214. Walking out of the main hall, several elders suddenly surrounded him. "Hey, little friend Nai Chen, I want to discuss something with you." The supreme elders, who were usually highly respected by Reed, looked extremely humble at this moment, and their expressions clearly revealed that something was not right. "Ahem, I actually don't want to trouble you. But in fact, the elixir fragrance you refined in the end seemed to take us back to our youth in an instant, making us really want to beg for two. You see." The old man's face turned red. Although the elders looked obviously embarrassed, Damon still begged Nai Chen with a shameless face. "The last elixir refined." Nai Chen recalled it instantly. "You elders." He did not expect that these elders, who were usually highly respected, were not at all as serious as they seemed. Nai Chen smiled. "The elixir is okay, but the price of this elixir is not low. The elders must pay a price. Any number of spiritual stones will do. Little friend Nai Chen, please give me a price." Seeing that there was even a glimmer of possibility, several elders immediately replied excitedly. "It doesn't matter what the spirit stones are." Nai Chen waved his hand and suddenly said, "However, a few elders can exchange for the secret method of the earth grade. Moreover, it must be obtained from outside Tianyun Palace." "Earth quality skills? This, how can we have it? The sky and the earth are dark and yellow, and the skills of an earth-level person are priceless." When it comes to this, several elders instantly show a bit of tangle and hesitation. Several elders pretended to be confused, but Nai Chen didn't believe it at all. He naturally knew very well that these supreme elders were only suppressed by the powerful aura of Empress Qingyu in the Tianyun Palace. But in fact, being able to hold the position of supreme elder in Tianyun Palace, Which one of these people was not the most powerful person in the past and was known as the Holy Emperor? This kind of deception can't deceive Nai Chen at all. Since the elders are unwilling, I have no choice but to put this pill away. Nai Chen took out a dragon's roar aphrodisiac pill from his sleeve, and then put it into his pocket without seeming to care. But the pupils of several elders shrank suddenly, and their expressions were completely filled with shock. Is this elixir exactly the one in the legend? Longjian Yang Yang pill not only has the effect of its name on the surface, but also can infinitely increase Yang Qi and bring countless benefits. Such precious elixirs are not only extremely rare. There are very few alchemists who can refine it, and even if they can barely try, they don't have that wonderful and precious alchemy recipe at all. Unexpectedly, I am lucky enough to see it here. This elixir is really the dragon's roar aphrodisiac pill. I'll change it, little friend Nai Chen, please don't take it back. I'll change it too, let alone earth-level exercises, anything will do. Several elders were instantly anxious and hurriedly rushed forward. After a while, several elders each took 1 or 2 pills and carefully put them in their sleeves. But looking back at Nai Chen putting the magic weapons and exercises into the space ring, they felt like they were about to cry. I got the elixir, but I was about to lose all my wool. By the way, Nai Chen, since you are so good at refining alchemy, why don't you go to the alchemy conference to have a look? Elder Wang said as he looked at the treasure in Nai Chen's hand with heartache. Nai Chen asked, Alchemy Dao Conference? Yes, every year, a 3-month alchemy conference is held under Wuxing Mountain for alchemy masters from various sects to go and trade. Roughly speaking, there should be only a dozen days left this year. But it's still too late now. More importantly, how can you make a lot of money from just a pill you refine? Wuxingshan? It sounds good. Nai Chen nodded and kept it in mind. Then I'll take my leave now. Although he got the coveted elixir, Nai Chen had to take away the treasures he had saved for so long and even his underwear for the elixir. Several elders were in complicated moods and left soon after. Ding, the Wuxing Mountain Alchemy Conference may have an extremely important rare treasure inheritance born in the near future, and the host chooses to go there. System sound came. It seems that this alchemy conference is indeed a good place. Nai Chen thought for a moment. The battle with the forces of Emperor Fiyu and Emperor Yushin is about to begin. If we can take advantage of this opportunity to get some good treasures, we may be able to increase our chances of winning. But before that, Nai Chen took a leisurely stroll and soon discovered Chu Qingyu's figure in the back mountain. At this moment, at the foot of the hillside, there were several couples cuddling and hugging each other intimately. Chu Qingyu, who usually kept an eye on all directions and couldn't escape her gaze, was quietly hiding behind the tree in trance, completely unaware of Nai Chen's approach. Wife. Chu Qingyu's delicate body trembled when she was lightly tapped on the shoulder, obviously a little panicked. Why did you come here? After seeing that the visitor was Nai Chen, the cold face finally breathed a sigh of relief. Of course I'm looking for you as a wife. But, wife, what are you looking at here? Nai Chen smiled slightly. I only passed by chance, so I didn't look at anything specifically. Chu Qingyu hurriedly wanted to defend herself. Didn't you mean to see you hiding behind the tree and looking at those young couples attentively? But this defense had no effect at all. Chu Qingyu pursed her lips and finally said quietly. I am just curious, how dare those couples be so affectionate in front of others, after all, that kind of shameful thing. So the focus of the Empress is actually this. Nai Chen was silent for a moment, and suddenly smiled. Love is a common thing for people, but my wife, you always think it is too difficult to accept. However, I do have a way to help you solve this idea. Solve? How to solve it? Chu Qingyu asked curiously. It's not that simple. As long as you get married with me here, you won't have to think of being affectionate as a shameful thing in the future. You. Chu Qingyu was ashamed and angry by the sentence. But inadvertently, a touching color flashed in her eyes. Wedding. She murmured unconsciously. At this moment, Nai Chen suddenly put the bamboo flute in her hand. This bamboo flute is actually a heavenly magic weapon. Feeling the cool breath coming from her hand, Chu Qingyu couldn't help but show a little surprise. Wife, didn't you bet that you could learn to play the flute in one night? I'll lend you this flute for a few days. When I come back, I'll teach you how to play the flute. Humph, don't think that the difficulty of controlling a heavenly magic weapon can stump me. Look, I'll learn it in one night and show you. With a light hum, Chu Qingyu showed a sense of pride. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 215. By the way, actually I still have something I haven't given to you. I have been preparing this for a long time, so I will give it to you when you come back. Hearing that Nai Chen was going to Dandao, Chu Qingyu suddenly looked away, seeming a little shy. Looking at Chu Qingyu's charming face, Nai Chen hesitated slightly. Immediately afterwards, my heart surged. Is there anything you haven't sent yet? He suddenly recalled the gift Chu Qingyu gave him on Valentine's Day. Obscene clothes. The faint scent of Chu Qingyu was hidden in the space ring and lingered for a long time. Worried that the Empress would be too embarrassed, Nai Chen did not mention the matter of profanity again. But now, Chu Qingyu said that there was another gift that had not yet been given. What is it that can be compared with Xing, but it still takes a long time to prepare? After thinking for a long time, Nai Chen heard a loud bang in his mind like thunder. Could it be that that gift is the Empress herself? Don't worry, I will go back quickly this time and teach my wife how to play the flute when I come back. By the way. Nai Chen coughed twice, feeling indescribably excited. Is it possible that that day is finally coming? I thought that holding the Empress as a pillow would be unattainable, but I didn't expect. With full expectations, Nai Chen left Tianyuan Palace and immediately called Aolan. You adults. Aolan looked at Nai Chen, showing a subtle smile, and sighed like a little adult. What's wrong? Nai Chen asked. It's embarrassing to say that you were just about to come back and teach the Empress how to play the flute, but you actually wanted to deceive me, a simple child like me. Aolan covered her face, looking extremely shy. Pure? If you were pure, there wouldn't be a pure child in the world. Nai Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and suddenly threatened. If you dare to say such things again, believe it or not, all 7 carp will be gone. Carp? I don't dare anymore, I don't dare anymore. Aolan was instantly frightened. After all, the world is big, but nothing is more important than the carp. At this moment, Nai Chen suddenly waved 7 golden scaled carps above her head. The golden scales reflected dazzling light in the sunlight, and Ao Ian's eyes lit up instantly. Carp, my carp. His petite body jumped, but Nai Chen easily dodged it. When Aolan turned her head again, Nai Chen had put the golden scaled carp in her hand and touched her head gently. Consider these as a thank you gift for helping you prepare Valentine's Day gifts. Remember to eat slowly this time, so as not to swallow them without even realizing the taste. Don't worry, this time I will put them up first and eat them slowly. Aolan kept 7 golden scaled carps in a pond that looked like a bamboo hat. Looking at the 7 golden scaled carps swimming among them, light seemed to bloom in their small crystal eyes. The golden scaled carp is not only as delicious as heavenly delicacies to the dragon clan. With these carps, my strength can be greatly improved. Humph, today's technique is pretty good. Aolan touched the top of his head unconsciously, and a hint of warmth appeared on Ao Ian's cheeks. This was the first time that Nai Chen touched himself so gently. I have to say, this feels surprisingly good. Humph, it seems that humans with a contract are not as bad as imagined. Aolan hummed softly, and the clear sunshine was as warm as shining into his heart. "Let's go to Wuxing Mountain." At this moment, Nai Chen said with a smile. "Hey, let's look at this Dragon King." Aolan roared softly, full of fighting spirit. Transformed into a dragon shape, carrying Nai Chen, the speed was much faster than before. Among the mountains and green mountains, stands an ethereal martial mountain. I don't know since when, at this time of year, a steady stream of alchemists have gathered at the foot of Wuxing Mountain to sell elixirs or discuss the path to alchemy. After years of accumulation, the alchemy conference has gradually become popular and developed in Wuxing Mountain. And it has become more and more prosperous, attracting monks from all major sects to participate every year. After all, here, they can buy the most affordable and high-quality elixirs, and they can also come into contact with extraordinary alchemists. Most alchemists are not good at cultivation, but alchemists, especially high-level alchemists, are extremely respected in Lanchuan continent. Even if the alchemy conference can last for 3 full months, during these 3 months, it will always be busy with traffic and there will be a lot of people. Especially in the last 10 days of this alchemy conference, many precious elixirs will be released as the finale. Riding Aolan, Nai Chen came to the foot of Wuxing Mountain. There are a lot of dazzling things nearby, and there are many alchemists or second-level vendors selling elixirs here. Most of the elixirs are not high grade, mainly second and third grade, but there are many kinds, many of which are more practical qi condensing pills and healing pills. As for the 4th grade or even 5th grade high-end elixirs, no matter how expensive they are still enough to cause a large number of people to continuously grab them. This red elixir looks good, and those green elixirs are also good. Wow, there are so many colors, I always feel they are much more beautiful than what you made. Ao Ian's eyes flashed, looking extremely excited. Are you sure? Nai Chen was speechless. The more colorful the elixirs are, the lower their grade is. This is a dazzling array of seemingly diverse elixirs, but the actual price may not even add up to the price of one elixir in his hand. It's a bit scary if you haven't seen the world. Just then, a long sigh sounded from the side. Accompanied by the sound of copper bells and fragrance, a beautiful figure in red came slowly. Bells were hung on the exotic clothes, and the Wuxingshan clothes with almost no fabric made the woman in front of him extremely charming. Although she was fragrant, it was a kind of charming fragrance that made people feel uncomfortable. "Brother, I didn't expect to meet someone as handsome as you in such a place. At that moment just now, I was a little moved. If you didn't already have a child, and you didn't seem to have much knowledge about cultivation and elixirs, maybe I would really fall in love with you." During the conversation, the woman was a little angry, which made people feel condescending. Obviously, she didn't take Nai Chen seriously at all. "Child." Nai Chen patted the dragon hair on Ao Ian's head helplessly. The woman in front of him looked like she had the strength of the early Xianyuan realm, and her mastery of the Dao of alchemy should not be bad. But if she knew Ao Ian's true identity, she would probably faint on the spot. "It seems to be about to start." "Forget it. I guess you haven't seen such a big world. Just watch carefully from the side." The woman raised her lips slightly, revealing a bit of pride. At the same time, more and more people began to gather. Shock, the love letter was sent to the empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 216. Finally, we've come. The pedestrians were bustling with excitement, and all of them looked at the crowd that was gradually gathering with joy. "That's Master Anyin from the Nundun sect, and Master Anyin is a 5th grade alchemist. Master Sun, who is also a 5th grade alchemist, is here too. Isn't that the leader of the Mingdan sect, Dan Qi?" With the constant exclamations and discussions, Nai Chen roughly learned the whole story from the surrounding cultivators. Every year, a 3-month alchemy conference is held at the foot of Wuxing Mountain. but only in the last 10 days or so will the finale of the alchemy conference appear at the foot of the mountain. Top alchemists from all over the world will refine high-quality elixirs in the form of competition. Elixirs of this grade are far from being available at the alchemy conference. In addition to the auction that will be held at the end, the 3 alchemists who refine the highest grade will be eligible to participate in the alchemy trial that has been passed down in Wuxing Mountain for thousands of years. In front of so many monks from all over the world, challenge Wuxing Mountain with elixirs. The trials of Wuxing Mountain are extremely mysterious and difficult. So far, alchemists from all over the world have come and gone, gathering here every year, but no one has been able to take away the inheritance and rewards of Wuxing Mountain. As for the legendary scene that is enough to cause Wuxing Mountain to crack and burst out with the momentum of opening up the world, no one has ever seen it with their own eyes. After all, that kind of inheritance is no longer something that today's alchemists can achieve. The many alchemists who walked to the front looked at each other. There are no rules, no time, and no restrictions in this competition. There are only those who can refine the top-level elixirs and stand out from the crowd. Several cauldrons of elixirs have been set up in no particular order. The faint fragrance rises into the air, and medicinal materials are thrown into the elixirs one by one. It is completely different from the dazzling array of elixirs placed near the foot of the mountain. There is no alchemist who dares to stand out at this moment without confidence. The elixirs that were refined were high-grade elixirs that were extremely difficult to buy. Along with the refreshing fragrance, there were even wonderful visions. A faint light spread, and this strange scene made the onlookers marvel. The lowest grade of these elixirs being refined was also grade 4. Among them, there were even many high-grade elixirs that reached grade 5. Once the elixir is out, you must hurry up and find ways to buy it. Otherwise, it will be quickly snatched away by people from other sects with a large number of spirit stones. How about it, brother? This is the first time you have seen the alchemist's ceremony. Do these high-grade elixirs make you shine? The red-dressed woman with cool clothes and a bit of exotic style smiled softly. Although she was introducing it, she couldn't hide her arrogant intention. It's just so-so. It doesn't seem to be a good elixir. Looking at the scene in front of him, Nai Chen just said casually. Just so-so. The woman was choked for a moment. A 5th grade elixir is a treasure that all the major sects spend a lot of money to buy at all costs. Don't look at these alchemists standing in front of everyone to make elixirs. If it weren't for the fact that the alchemy conference was about to end, they would have to compete for the trial quota that belongs only to powerful alchemists. These alchemists, especially those 5th grade alchemists, are usually high and mighty, respected by everyone. Just so-so? If such words were said in front of these onlookers, it would be a joke. Humph, well, it seems that you don't know much about alchemy. I guess you don't know who I am either. The woman looked at Nai Chen, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but rise slightly. Who are you? I don't know you. Nai Chen shook his head coldly. Ah, so cold. Is it because my charm is not enough to attract you, or? Forget it, when you know my identity, you will definitely not have this expression. After all, if you are not so handsome that you are different from the people around you, you will never talk to me. During the conversation, the woman seemed extremely confident, and did not hide her smug condescending attitude at all. Is that so? Then I am looking forward to your identity. Nai Chen smiled slightly. No way, there is really no one who is so confident that he thinks he is more powerful than the empress. It's okay in front of others, but in front of Nai. Looking at this scene, Aolan on the side was a little angry and laughed. Where did this woman get her confidence from? But halfway through her words, her little mouth was covered by Nai Chen. Nai Chen smiled with a subtle smile, as if to indicate that she didn't need to continue. At this moment, as the flame suddenly rose and disappeared, a tripod of alchemy furnace was finally opened. and in it, there was a pill that had been successfully refined. The fragrance of the elixir filled the air, instantly spreading to the foot of Wuxing Mountain. That is the 5th grade Red Lotus Jade pill. That Lanshan Jade refining pill is also a 5th grade pill. And that 9 Cauldrons Huandan, my god, I'm afraid its grade is already high enough to be ranked at the top of the 5th grade. Exclamations rang out one after another, and the scene in front of them made everyone open their eyes wide and look excited. Sure enough, the true soul of the alchemy conference was at this moment. All the strongest alchemists gathered here, and those top-grade elixirs were out of their reach before. No one could imagine that there would be any alchemists who could stand out in this situation. Just stand there and watch. At this moment, the woman looked at Nai Chen proudly, then twisted her slender and charming waist, shuttled through the crowd, and walked into the many alchemists and alchemy furnaces where incense was rising. The ringing of the bells trembled, and the light and cool red clothes attracted the attention of many people. The exotic and coquettish feeling suddenly made many monks who had traveled all over the world and knew a lot of things open their eyes. This is Lan Ruofeng from the western regions. Rumor has it that she is a 6th grade alchemist. Yes, it's her. Lan Ruofeng from the western regions is really here. No one believed it at first, but after looking at the woman in red carefully, exclamations rang out one after another. Even though they had never seen it with their own eyes, they had already heard rumors about it. There was a genius alchemist in the western regions, who had no eyes for anyone and was extremely proud. But at the same time, her strength as a 6th grade alchemist was unmatched. This person's name was Lan Ruofeng, who often wore a red dress that only reached her navel, with bells hanging on it. Unexpectedly, she actually came to the alchemy conference in Wuxing Mountain. Today's alchemy conference, I will take it down. Under the astonished gazes from all around, Lan Ruofeng smiled triumphantly, and a cauldron appeared in her palm. Today, I will refine a 6th grade ambergris pill. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 217. Ambergris pill. It's actually a 6th grade pill. After hearing what Lan Ruofeng said, everyone opened their eyes wide in astonishment. Not only is ambergris pill extremely rare and precious, but its refining process is also extremely difficult. Only a 6th grade alchemist with extremely strong strength can refine it. More importantly, ambergris pill needs ambergris as a medicine. Lan Ruofeng actually has ambergris. You should know that the status of the dragon clan is respected and rare, and they rarely come into contact with humans. It is extremely difficult to obtain ambergris. The stronger the spiritual energy contained in the ambergris used to refine ambergris pill, the better the refining effect of ambergris pill. And the ambergris I took was borrowed from a dragon elder. With these ambergris, the quality of this furnace of ambergris pill may be more refined than any pill you have ever seen. A small wooden bottle appeared in Lan Ruofeng's hand, and the light golden liquid was dripped into the pill furnace. In an instant, the medicinal materials in the furnace, which were not precious at first, all boiled under the effect of ambergris. When the lid of the furnace was closed, an aftermath spread to the surroundings. The spiritual energy contained in it was amazing. The spiritual energy of this ambergris is really unique. While everyone was shocked, Lan Ruofeng had already begun to control the furnace. Her skills had already reached perfection, and she even seemed to be integrated with the furnace. I heard that Lan Ruofeng started practicing alchemy at the age of 3. She used elixirs as food since she was a child. Her understanding of alchemy is beyond ordinary people, and no one in the entire Western region can match it. Isn't that a rumor? I originally thought that Lan Ruofeng's deeds were just a lie, but this control of alchemy can only be achieved by almost integrating with alchemy. 6th grade alchemist, completely worthy of it. This scene completely stunned everyone. Compared with some 5th grade alchemists who were originally revered as masters, they instantly looked dull. All eyes in the entire Wuxing Mountain seemed to be focused on Lan Ruofeng at this moment. Is this girl still human? Where can I put my old face? Damn it, a Western region alchemist, why does she have to come here to steal our limelight? Bang! Bang! The Dao heart was affected, and many alchemists' alchemy furnaces suddenly exploded. The Dao heart was frustrated, and they suffered the backlash of the failure of alchemy. Several alchemists fell to the ground, spitting blood, and looked weak. Among them, there were even 5th grade alchemy masters. Looking at Lan Ruofeng again, all the alchemists seemed to regard her as a thorn in their eyes and a thorn in their flesh. Not only was the limelight stolen, but Lan Ruofeng's behavior was like pressing their faces into the soil and trampling on them. But as the alchemy furnaces exploded one after another, the resentful eyes of those alchemists who were defeated seemed to highlight Lan Ruofeng's glory. A lone alchemist from the western regions, with his overwhelming momentum, made countless alchemists so angry that they vomited blood. The refining of ambergris pills was unrivaled, and even attracted strange phenomena in the world. Such a beautiful scene could simply look down on the entire Wuxing Mountain. Inadvertently, Lan Ruofeng looked at Nai Chen in the crowd with a smug smile on her lips. It was as if she was saying, "What do you think? Didn't expect that the person who just talked to you is actually a 6th grade alchemist." But she soon noticed that Nai Chen showed no fluctuations, as if he didn't take her seriously at all. In that case, let you see it. Lan Ruofeng showed a touch of determination, and suddenly raised his hand to inject the whole bottle of ambergris into the alchemy furnace. With the injection of all the ambergris, the entire alchemy furnace instantly exuded a completely different breath from before. It was as if a dragon roared, and then the alchemy furnace trembled, and the hot breath continued to surge in all directions. At the same time, a strong and spiritual Dan Qi continued to overflow from the furnace. The spiritual power contained in it seemed endless and amazing. The ambergris pill has been refined. When the alchemy furnace was opened, a faint smoke spread out. And among them, each of the slightly golden pills was extremely complete. The 6th grade ambergris pill was actually successfully refined by Lan Ruofeng. Moreover, although it is not as perfect as the highest grade ambergris pill recorded in ancient books, it can reach such a level. Looking at the entire Lanchuan continent, there are not many people who can do it. Miss Ruofeng, please let me buy this furnace of pills. I can pay any price, even if it takes all the financial resources of our sect, I must get it. In an instant, countless sects wanted to get there first. The old man who organized the alchemy conference also nodded and sighed. He didn't want the people from the western region to steal the limelight of the entire conference, but the current situation showed that no one could compete with Lan Ruofeng's strength. I'm afraid that she will definitely be one of the top 3. The next trial has nothing to do with the other 2. In that case, Lan Ruofeng can be one of the 3 people participating in the trial. Ambergris? It happens that I can also refine it, so why not let me try it? At this moment, the old man's voice suddenly interrupted. Under the gaze of everyone, Nai Chen slowly walked over, and he was holding Aolan in his hand. Bring your daughter to participate in the alchemy conference. Instantly, many people's faces darkened. Few powerful people are tied to family ties, and they will not bring children to the conference. They have never heard of any powerful young alchemist with a daughter. Ambergris is a 6th grade elixir, how can you refine it just because you want to? Boy, although you look extraordinary and don't look like an ordinary person. But the alchemy conference is a 1,000-year tradition of Wuxing Mountain, you can't just blaspheme it. Not to mention how precious the 6th grade elixir is, it is not something that ordinary alchemists can touch. Just the extremely precious ambergris. Do you have it? Ambergris? Of course I have it. Nai-Chen took out the alchemy furnace calmly. The alchemy furnace engraved with the pattern of the fire phoenix was given by Chu Qingyu. This alchemy furnace. Looking at the alchemy furnace in Nai-Chen's hand, which seemed to have the illusion of a phoenix reborn from the fire, many people trembled at the same time. They have never seen this alchemy furnace, but they can clearly feel its extraordinariness. Could it be that this guy is really a master of alchemy? Just like the girl just now, I also refined a dragon saliva pill. However, the 6th grade pill is not up to the standard, so I'd better refine a furnace of 7th grade pills. Ao Lan, bring the dragon saliva. Nai-Chen suddenly said. Okay. Under the gaze of everyone, Ao Lan walked to the alchemy furnace. Put. He spat into it. Tell me this is dragon saliva. In an instant, everyone was stunned. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 218. Asshole, are you insulting our alchemy conference? Let a little girl spit into the alchemy furnace and say it's ambergris. Are you insulting our intelligence? The many monks watching were completely enraged. This behavior was undoubtedly a provocation to them. Forget it, if he wants to, let him continue. Lan Ruofeng stared at Nai-Chen with full confidence, with a mocking smile on his lips. One's own strength is easier to be highlighted under the background. This person's appearance obviously doesn't know how stupid his behavior is. Since Miss Ruofeng said so, let him come. The monks around gritted their teeth and had to suppress their anger. But he dared to insult the alchemy conference in front of everyone. When it's over, he must make this kid pay for it. Not to mention the extremely precious ambergris, how difficult it is to refine the 6th grade elixir. Even in the entire Lanchuan continent, there are only a handful of 6th grade alchemists. How could such a high-grade elixir be made by a junior who has no impression on the masters of alchemy from all walks of life? Although the eyes were cast on Nai-Chen, they were not friendly. In their eyes, Nai-Chen lit the furnace fire with a blue flame. Exchange the recipe of ambergris pill and the corresponding materials. Ding, 7 skill points have been spent. The required spiritual herbs appeared in Nai-Chen's hands, and he threw them into the furnace and closed the lid. The blue flame burned slowly, and under Nai-Chen's control, the furnace fire condensed the various materials in the furnace in an orderly manner. And their spiritual energy was slowly condensed, fused, and transformed. Strange, why does it suddenly look like something real? The most important thing is his alchemy furnace and that strange green flame, which don't look like ordinary things. The problem is that there is no ambergris. What ambergris pill can he make? No matter how well he does it on the surface, it's just a trick. Besides, have you heard of this 6th grade alchemist before? Of course not. The monks who were watching were a little suspicious and quickly dispelled the thoughts that had arisen in their minds. No matter how much he pretends to be, this person can never make ambergris pills. Lan Ruofeng also watched Nai-Chen with interest, and the eyes that flowed out inadvertently were not only a bit arrogant, but also looked like he was watching a joke. No one took this furnace of pills seriously. But watching the green flame slowly burning under the alchemy furnace, under Nai-Chen's seemingly casual control, a fragrant pill fragrance floated, and even accompanied by a faint golden light. But suddenly someone realized that something was wrong. This strange scene, what happened? Strange fragrance, golden light, isn't this a sign of the birth of a very high-level elixir? Although Lan Ruofeng also caused a strange phenomenon when he was refining the elixir just now. But compared with what is in front of him, it is not known how much weaker. The fragrance from the elixir furnace almost permeated the entire Wuxing mountain, even attracting birds to hover in the air, and the wild beasts in the mountain curiously walked out of the forest. A faint golden light enveloped the elixir furnace, covering the entire area within an unknown radius with a layer of holy golden light. It was like the calm before the surging waves. Even if the elixir has not been produced, this strange scene has already shocked people. But doesn't the ambergris elixir refined in the elixir furnace even have the most important material, ambergris? The onlookers were completely dumbfounded and couldn't figure out what happened. What on earth is this? The old man, who had presided over the alchemy conference for hundreds of years, suddenly stood up from his chair, staring at the alchemy furnace controlled by Nai Chen in disbelief. I have been refining alchemy for so many years, but I have never seen such an alchemy scene. No ambergris. Wait, could it be? The old man suddenly opened his eyes wide, and an unprecedented chill surged behind him. Looking at Aolan, he took a step back, his expression filled with astonishment. Could it be that this little girl is the Dragon Clan's illusion? The elixir in this furnace is the ambergris elixir, and it is even more pure than the one refined by Lan Ruofeng. Boom! A wave of waves shook the surroundings, and not only the old man, but everyone noticed the strange scene happening in front of them. And at this moment, Nai Chen had opened his eyes. There was a faint golden color in his eyes. What is in this furnace? Could it be that he really refined the ambergris? Instantly, everyone looked at Nai Chen. The original ridicule and indignation had already disappeared at this moment. All that was left was the feeling of astonishment that could not be concealed. The furnace was slowly opened, and in an instant, a fragrance of the elixir that was much stronger than before spread in all directions. Just smelling this fragrance of the elixir made people feel as if they were purified, and the whole body was benefited, extremely refreshed and clear. Not only that, when the elixir in the furnace slowly floated out, the dazzling golden light almost permeated the entire forest. Birds spread their wings and flew high, wild beasts ran happily, the forest trembled, and even the sky was faintly accompanied by a few thunderclaps. After waiting for a long time until the strong golden light slowly dissipated, countless eyes gathered at the same time. They all clearly saw that 6 golden pills were floating above Nai Chen's palm. But the golden shell was as glittering as a golden armor, not only flashing dazzling light under the sun, but also faintly emitting a terrifying pressure. Even just looking at it was enough to make people feel the terrifying spiritual power hidden in it. Not only that, there were dragon patterns engraved on the pills. The dragon patterns were lifelike and extremely real, as if a divine dragon covered with golden scales could roar at any time and fly out of it. These 6 pills are exactly the dragon saliva pill. Moreover, each pill is far stronger than Lan Ruofeng's pill that can only slightly reveal the dragon shape, but is dull, and is far inferior to this pill in terms of quality and taste. This is the 7th grade Dragon Roar pill. Looking at the strange scene in front of them, even if they didn't want to believe it, the onlookers had to accept this fact. I don't know how long it has been since I saw it with my own eyes, but someone really succeeded in refining a 7th grade pill. 7th grade. You know, there are only a few 6th grade alchemists in the entire Lanchuan continent. There are rumors about 7th grade elixirs, and even those who are obsessed with alchemy have not heard about it for a long time. And today, I was lucky enough to see the 7th grade ambergris with my own eyes. But where does ambergris come from? In an instant, countless eyes inadvertently looked at Aolan, and an inexplicable terrible thought filled everyone's mind. The girl in front of me is really a dragon. Shock, the love letter was sent to the empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 219. The dragon roar pill with golden dragon patterns engraved on it cannot be fake, which means. The old man who presided over the alchemy conference trembled and stepped forward, his lips trembling slightly because of excitement. This dragon roar pill is indeed a genuine 7th grade pill. I never thought that I could see a 7th grade pill in my lifetime. After a lifetime of pursuit, the old man never thought that he would encounter it here. It is actually a 7th grade pill. First, a 6th grade alchemist, and then a 7th grade dragon saliva pill. What happened at this year's alchemy conference? And where did the dragon saliva come from? If that little girl is really a dragon, doesn't it mean someone has tamed the dragon? Especially the alchemists who know something about the dragon saliva pill were even more shocked. The main ingredient in the dragon saliva pill is dragon saliva, and as the dragon's blood becomes more and more pure, the grade of the dragon saliva pill will be higher. The ability to refine such a terrifying dragon saliva pill is not only because the strength of the person in front of him has reached the level of a 7th grade alchemist. I'm afraid that girl must have a very respectable status among the dragons, and she might even be a dragon king. Who else in the world can subdue a dragon king? I heard that a Nai-Chen who climbed to the sea-breaking realm within a few months and awakened the true body of enlightenment appeared in Tianyun Palace. And he also subdued Ao Lan, the dragon king of the West Sea, as a pet. Could it be that he is Nai-Chen? Suddenly an alchemist exclaimed. Although most alchemists are weak and don't have much contact with cultivation, they also know something about the outrageous rumors about Nai-Chen. Is the person in front of him the terrifying existence who is highly valued by the king or queen and has awakened the true body of enlightenment? Why is he here? More importantly, why can someone with such a terrible cultivation level be so proficient in alchemy? The alchemists present felt like crying but had no tears. They stayed away from cultivation and studied the alchemy for their whole lives, but in the end, they found it ridiculously insignificant. Reaching the sea-opening realm within a few years, subduing the Dragon King as a pet, and even mastering the elixir, becoming a 7th grade alchemist that cannot be found in the entire Lanchuan continent, is there anything more outrageous than this? Even if there are rumors about 7th grade alchemists, no one has seen one for hundreds of years. You are actually that Nai-Chen. Looking at Nai-Chen, Lan Ruofeng's original arrogance completely dissipated. All that was left was incredible astonishment. She could never have imagined that the person she had just coldly mocked and didn't take a look at would actually be the person in the rumors. Looking at the dim and blurred elixir in her hand, with almost no dragon pattern, and then looking at Nai-Chen's 7th grade dragon roar pill that seemed to be constantly bursting with the sound of dragon roars. Even a fool can clearly perceive the huge gap between them. As if they were separated by a chasm, the alchemy skills that she was proud of seemed as insignificant as a child in front of this person. Boom! As if the real owner had encountered a hypocrite, the dragon roar pill in Nai-Chen's hand suddenly exuded an arrogant aura like the might of a dragon. This huge aura swept across and suppressed Lan Ruofeng. And the 3 dragon saliva pills in her hand that were finally refined with great difficulty actually trembled, as if they were extremely frightened. The pills gathered the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and were full of spiritual charm. And in front of the real dragon saliva pills, the 3 pills in K-Ruling's hand finally could no longer withstand the huge sense of oppression. They were actually trembling and shattered. Bang! Seeing the residue scattered all over the ground, everyone who saw the scene was dumbfounded. The 6th grade dragon saliva pill was an extremely precious thing that was enough to cause major sects to scramble for it, and even do their best to get it by any means. But in front of Nai-Chen, these dragon saliva pills were directly shattered. The difference between the 2 alchemy methods is enough to show how far the difference is. As the pill shattered, Lan Ruofeng's essence seemed to have been hit hard. This ambergris pill was made with her countless efforts. Being shattered like this, Lan Ruofeng suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood, her feet went weak, and she fell to the ground. Her originally charming face was a little pale, and she looked weak. Not only did she suffer the backlash of the ambergris pill, but her Tao heart was also severely traumatized. After struggling in the alchemy path for an unknown period of time, Lan Ruofeng immersed herself in the alchemy path day after day. It was unknown how much effort she had put in to achieve her current strength. The reputation of the 6th grade alchemist resounded throughout the western regions, and was passed down by countless alchemists. She was regarded as the first alchemy genius in the western regions. There were even countless people who predicted that she would achieve achievements that no one had been able to achieve in the past few hundred years. After paying such a huge price, Lan Ruofeng finally waited for this day. But just when she was ready to use her lifelong knowledge to defeat everyone at the alchemy conference, she never expected that she would encounter such a person. Moreover, it was the person she had just ridiculed and ignored. All her efforts were in vain. Why is the heaven so unfair to me? Blood flowed down the corners of her mouth. Lan Ruofeng's face was ashen, pale, and her Tao heart had suffered a severe trauma. Miss Lan, don't be too sad, I just came up because I saw that you were too tired from alchemy. Seeing that your face is so pale, you should go back to the western region to recuperate for 2 more years, and don't come out casually. Otherwise, it would not only hurt the body, but also the foundation of Taoism. Nai Chen smiled slightly. When Lan Ruofeng said this, she trembled and almost fainted. Known as the first alchemy genius in the western region for hundreds of years, she never thought that she would be ridiculed like this again. Do you have any questions about this conference? The old man looked around, and in an instant, there was silence. Originally, the alchemy conference would select the 3 strongest alchemists in the form of alchemy to participate in the trial of Wuxing Mountain. There must have been controversy about these 3 places. But now, there is no need to fight for the 3 places. Because, as long as Nai Chen is still there, no one is qualified to surpass him and get the reward of the trial. In this case, only Nai Chen will win this year's alchemy conference. The trial will also be participated by him alone. The old man was silent for a long time, and finally spoke. Beside him, Lan Ruofeng sat on the ground with a pale face. No one objected at all. Before the alchemy conference began, no one thought that the whole conference would end in this way. At this moment, with the birth of the dragon roar pill, a faint golden light was shining on Wuxing Mountain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, Mozuzi. Chapter 220. This fellow Taoist won the first place in this alchemy conference. As the old man's voice fell, the alchemy conference had come to an end. However, the old man walked in front of Nai Chen, bowed slightly and asked solemnly. I don't know your identity yet, can I take the liberty to guess? Are you Nai Chen from Tianyun Hall? Yes, the old Taoist guess is quite accurate. Nai Chen nodded. It's really Nai Chen from Tianyun Hall, the genius who is deeply appreciated by the Qingya Queen and can be called the world's #1 fairy seedling. Nai Chen's cultivation is so terrifying, but I didn't expect that his alchemy is not inferior at all. For a while, exclamations came one after another, and this answer really exceeded everyone's imagination. No wonder Nai Chen was the only one who could be valued by the Qingya Queen, who was always extremely arrogant and cold. They really couldn't imagine how terrible Nai Chen was. For many years, even though alchemists from all over the world gathered here, none of the 3 who finally stood out from the crowd could pass the trial from Wuxing Mountain. Among them, there are even very rare 6th-grade alchemists in Nanchuan continent. Only Nai Chen qualified for today's trial, but for some reason, an unprecedented absurd idea emerged in everyone's mind. Could it be that Nai Chen can really pass this trial? Daiyu, the trial seems to have begun. At this moment, the old man who presided over the meeting said to Nai Chen. Then, a brilliant golden light emanated from Wuxing Mountain. A majestic and compelling breath like a mountain crushed down. It was not only from Wuxing Mountain, but also from the inheritance of alchemy in Lanchuan continent for thousands of years. The hard work of countless alchemists and the crystallization created by countless ancestors. The trial at this moment will represent the top level of all alchemists in Lanchuan continent. Only those who have reached the pinnacle can pass. This trial has been waiting for thousands of years. Ding, feeling the pressure from Wuxing Mountain. With the prompt of the system, Nai Chen not only did not retreat, but completely released the aura hidden in his body. 7th grade alchemist. Since ancient times, all kinds of ancient books and cultivation methods related to alchemy have been burned to ashes, and all kinds of rare medicinal materials have long disappeared. The path of alchemy has become more and more difficult. Except for rumors, no one has seen the birth of a 7th grade alchemist for a long time. But at this moment, the aura emanating from Nai Chen is genuine. Boom! Wuxing Mountain trembled slightly, as if it recognized Nai Chen very much. But at the same time, the aura it emanated was far more magnificent than before. The light suddenly became brighter, completely enveloping Nai Chen. The alchemy trial from Wuxing Mountain has officially begun. Only those who can refine a peerless elixir that is recognized by it can pass the trial. Obviously, even the 7th grade ambergris pill refined by Nai Chen was not enough. Boom! The mighty pressure came down, and the terrifying pressure from the entire Wuxing Mountain even made Nai Chen's body shake. Moreover, this pressure did not stop, but increased with the passage of time. This trial even has a time limit. Wuxing Mountain seems to be really angry. Many alchemists hurriedly retreated and got rid of this terrible pressure. But everyone's eyes were filled with deep fear. Many people have participated in the alchemy conference and have witnessed the winning alchemists participating in the trial. But so far, no one has ever seen Wuxing Mountain emitting such a strong sense of oppression. Compared with the past, this is not at the same level. No one could pass it before, and now with Wuxing Mountain furious, how could anyone pass it? But it was different from what they thought. Even under this terrifying sense of oppression, Nai Chen continued to hold on. Golden lines slowly climbed on his arms. After opening the Xiangu saint body, Nai Chen was not strongly hindered even under this strong pressure. In this case, let's give it a try. Nai Chen gritted his teeth slightly, as if countless words were floating in his mind. Even the most powerful existence must obey the law. And the laws of this world can all be understood in comprehension. Nai Chen's comprehension continued to improve, reaching a terrifying realm. Suddenly, he merged all 3 pill recipes together. Golden Sun Burning Tendon Pill. 3-turn Soul Condensing Pill. Kingly Red Fire Pill. These 3 seemingly unrelated pill recipes found a common point under Nai Chen's comprehension. The flames of the pill furnace burned up, and all the herbs and materials required for the 3 pill recipes were thrown into it by Nai Chen. As the pills were put into the furnace, the flames burned. The alchemy furnace engraved with the fire phoenix pattern and given by Chu Qingyu was actually shaking slightly, obviously unable to contain the powerful spiritual power that was about to burst out. As the flames rose, strong aftermaths shook the surroundings. Even though they couldn't see the scene inside the alchemy furnace clearly, everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them. With such a terrifying aura, what exactly did Nai Chen refine? I seem to have some impression of the spiritual herbs he invested. Could that extremely rare dragon tongue grass be used to refine the golden sun burning tendon pill? But the soul gathering flower that has not been found for hundreds of years is clearly used to refine the 3rd level soul condensing pill. And those strange green objects, could it be? Even these alchemists from all over the country who have read countless ancient books and are extremely proficient in the way of alchemy gathered here, but they could not see what Nai Chen was refining at all. On the contrary, as the discussion continued, they felt that their brains were even more chaotic. Everything in front of them was completely beyond their cognition. At this time, everyone clearly felt that waves of terrifying breath seemed to be condensing from the alchemy furnace. If this kind of elixir can really be refined, its grade will be unimaginable. Boom! 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 As time went by, the sense of oppression from Wuxing Mountain became stronger by many times. The terrifying pressure crushed Nai Chen from all directions, breaking all the flowers, plants, and trees beside him, and even the ground beneath his feet sank downward, spreading cracks like spider webs. Oops, even if he can refine the elixir, if this continues, I'm afraid his body will be the first to be unable to bear it. Just as everyone couldn't help but exclaimed, suddenly, 7-colored light suddenly burst out from the alchemy furnace. Shock, the love letter was sent to the Empress by mistake. Author, MaleProtagonist. Chapter 221. The dazzling light with 7 colors of brilliance burst out from the alchemy furnace. In the 7-color light, everyone felt a fragrance that seemed to come from another world at the same time. Not only was the fragrance of the elixir refreshing, but countless people observed their bodies in amazement, and found that their whole body, even every cell, seemed to have been greatly improved in this elixir fragrance. Not only did their physique improve, but even their cultivation and understanding had greatly increased. What is this? Even though they knew the magical effects of high-level elixirs, such a magical scene was unheard of even by these alchemists who delved into the way of elixir. So, how high is the elixir in this furnace? Nai Chen's alchemy had even attracted strange phenomena in the world. There were faint rumbling sounds in the sky, and someone clearly saw the red thunder tribulation shining in the sky at an unknown distance. The clouds gathered over Wuxing Mountain, and the wind outlet in the center of the clouds was facing Nai Chen, who was refining the elixir. The wind swept, and the fragrance accompanied by countless strange scenes followed one after another. At this moment, everyone was completely shocked by the scene in front of them. Even the 7th grade elixir just now was far from being able to achieve the current scene. What exactly is Nai Chen refining now? Could it be? At this moment, Wu Xingshan seemed to really intend to use all his strength, and a sense of oppression that was far beyond what he had just done suppressed him, as if he turned into an infinite mountain and crushed Nai Chen. But before this pressure came down, the lid of the alchemy furnace suddenly opened. Boom! The powerful aura rushed straight into the sky, and the colorful light was extremely bright. And in this light, everyone saw clearly. A pill, just a pill condensed from the alchemy furnace. But just this one elixir, it seemed to condense endless spiritual power. When it was exposed to the sun, the huge spiritual power was as majestic as the sun, which made people feel awe. This is an 8th grade elixir. The old man took a step back and looked at the sky in disbelief. He had presided over the conference for many years, and as a 6th grade alchemist, he was almost the backbone of the entire conference. When the old man made this sound, countless people reacted instantly and fell into panic. That elixir, no mistake. It actually reached the 8th grade. Even in ancient books, the 8th grade elixir was extremely rare. No one thought that today, countless years later, the 8th grade elixir would reappear in the world. Not to mention that the recipe for the 8th grade elixir no longer exists in the world. Even if it does, how did he refine it? Of course, no one knows that the elixir with 7 colors of light is the essence of the 3 7th grade elixirs, Jinyang Burning Tendon Pill, Sans Huan Condensing Soul Pill, and Kingly Red Fire Pill, which Nai Chen refined. Gathering all the essences of the 3 elixirs, this elixir seems to have no flaws. Boom! A strong momentum suddenly rose, and the 7-color elixir swept into the air as if it had divine consciousness. The strong pressure emitted by Wuxing Mountain continued to press down, but it could not break the defense line of the 7-color elixir at all. Not only that, the light on the 7-color elixir became brighter and brighter, and it actually continued to go up to the sky with a strong aura like a mountain. The situation that was originally balanced was completely broken. The 7-color elixir suddenly burst out with an unparalleled momentum and collided with Wuxing Mountain. A loud bang lingered around the entire Wuxing Mountain, and the strong aftermath seemed to be able to shock the world. Everyone clearly saw that the faint light covering Wuxing Mountain was shaking like a disorder. Wuxing Mountain seemed to be still. What happened? Why is Wuxing Mountain suddenly silent? I have never seen anyone who can withstand the pressure of Wuxing Mountain. Could it be that Nai Chen has been recognized by Wuxing Mountain? The old man's pupils shrank and he looked up in disbelief. There was a dead silence all around, and everyone's breathing seemed to have stopped. But at this moment, the spiritual power on the seven-color elixir seemed to be attracted and continued to flow slowly towards the sky. Immediately afterwards, an unprecedented light shone from Wuxing Mountain. Like a surging tide, the light rushed over and completely enveloped Nai Chen. The light seemed to contain a long-lasting breath from the ancient times. The way of alchemy has been passed down for many years since ancient times. And today, when the way of alchemy seems to be gradually weakening and even has not recovered for thousands of years, the 8th grade elixir has reappeared in the world. Even the trial that no one can pass has opened the door for Nai Chen at this moment. He really succeeded. At this moment, countless old men with white hair and beards looked at the sky, their beards trembling slightly, and tears streaming down their faces. All the alchemists who were immersed in the way of alchemy did not hope to witness such a scene one day. Even if it was not him who passed the trial, what Nai Chen did had fulfilled the dream of countless alchemists in Lanchuan continent for thousands of years. At this moment, they had waited too long. The countless lights on Wuxing Mountain began to move slowly and gathered towards the sky. As if they had been recognized by consciousness, the countless lights shone on Nai Chen as if with divine consciousness. The light was bright, and when the spiritual energy of the entire Wuxing Mountain was all gathered in that point that was shining like the sun in the sky, this light suddenly gathered into Nai Chen's body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the supreme inheritance of the alchemy, Tianling Bianhuo. The blue sky and the yellow spring, refining the world. This method can use the world as a furnace, all laws as fire, and all things as materials to refine everything in the world. But if you want to comprehend it in a short period of time, it is extremely difficult. Refining progress, 0/7. As the system sound fell, a steady stream of information poured into Nai Chen's mind. That was the method of Tianling Bianhuo descended from Wuxing Mountain. However, this ancient method that was enough to refine all things in the world, and whose grade was unknown to what extent, was mysterious and unpredictable. Every word and every Taoist method in it was mysterious and infinite, as if it contained supreme mysteries. Even Nai Chen, who had fully opened the true body of enlightenment and seemed to have comprehended the meaning contained in it, could only barely understand a small part of it. A long-lasting reward from the ancient alchemy path. At the foot of Wuxing Mountain, looking at the strange phenomenon happening in the sky. No one knows what the inheritance Nai Chen has obtained in the golden light is, but everyone can feel the terrifying aura in it. And at this moment, Nai Chen finally slowly opened his eyes. There seemed to be a hint of light blue in those pupils.